my mask and like my hair's long. And so
Yeah.
I was like, how can I fuck with this guy right now? So I yelled, "Hey, do you want to fucking die?" And my girlfriend started freaking out because she thought I was like about to fight somebody. And then she sees me like go hug this bald older man.
I know. I'm
And I
like,
lost my balance and I was about to fall over when I hugged you. So she was like, "I thought you were gonna like tumble with the Mr. Scrubber guy onto the floor."
I know. I'm like in the middle of Walmart and I hear, "Hey, you want to get the shit kicked out of here?" or whatever the hell you said. I'm like, "What?"
Oh,
Yeah.
I just want to buy my Crispix and go home.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck off.
Trying to get a lot of fiber here, and you're really fucking it up.
Now you're just beating up an old man.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
Damn
let me-
kids.
Okay, there we go. Discord capture. I need to move this over a little more. There we go.
Hey, good news. We have a short ad this week.
Good. Fucking
Yeah.
Mark. All right. Well,
Be-
let's go ahead and get this thing started, shall we?
Do it to
Sounds
it.
good, man.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
I'm sad. I miss you. It's been so long since we've seen each other. I can't remember your voice. Dementia is taking my mind. I can't remember my children's faces. I need help. I want help. Vote Touch Biloxi for Best Solo Duo Act in this year's Covey Awards by going to coastobserver.com and looking for the Covey Awards tab. It's there somewhere. Hit it.
What a fucking psychopath.
I didn't know where that was going until I heard the touch button.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Open Micers Podcast. My name is Jason Robbins.
I'm your mom's ex-boyfriend, Steve.
Yeah, and we have one of the coolest guests tonight. He is not only the singer in my band Falls from Grace, but he's also host of the Brownwater Banter podcast and a co-host of the Sound podcast, which is one of the best places you can get new music from unsigned bands. So his name is Mr. Jared Seymour.
That's me. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing tonight?
Good, man. Welcome.
Oh, we got sound effects?
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, he likes to play with his little soundboard whenever he gets the
Yeah,
chance.
yeah. He thinks he's cool. He's got all the control and the power back there.
word I have to say.
Jared, you know a thing or two about podcasts. How looked down upon are soundboard sound effects?
You know, they're I would call it retro, you know. I guess,
Yeah.
you know, he's paying an homage to where I guess early radio and early podcasting.
I guess so. I
Speaking-
mean, that fits the mold. Outdated, I would say.
Speaking
There
of
you go.
soundboards, Jared, I know you're gonna get it. You'll appreciate this. I brought this up with Pepper a couple of weeks ago. The best 99 cents I ever spent on the iPhone, on the App Store, is the Diamond David Lee Roth soundboard.
Hit it.
Oh, come on, play. Oh, I got the sound off. That's why. Here you go.
God damn it, baby, no, I ain't lying to you. I'm only gonna tell you
Dude,
How often do you need that in your everyday life?
Every
more
day.
than you think.
You
more
would
than
think.
you think, dude.
More than you think.
More than you think. I urge everyone to go out and listen to David Lee Roth's vocals over what was it, Jason?
Holy crap. It is. If you go on
I could see his
YouTube,
face.
what's the guy's name from Smash Mouth?
Smash Mouth. That's
yeah.
it. That's it.
It's the David Lee
If you need
Roth.
to pick me
Shrek.
up in your day, don't take antidepressants. Just listen to this.
Oh yeah, hold on. Come on, YouTube. Come on. All right, let's see. I wish I'd had it brought up beforehand. This would be so awesome. Oh,
Yeah, it's
why-
natural though, so it works.
I mean, why is this up? Go away. There we go. Let's see. David Lee Roth.
And Smash Mouth.
And I've already got it highlighted because I've looked it up so many times.
I've literally gotten tears from
Dude,
this.
this is the greatest thing ever.
California got sunshine. Oh, yes. Hanging out with your friends. Yeah, yeah. Setting up for a good time. Just want $1 million, so you drive the brand new Benz. It's days like these you really want to have now. That's what I'm talking about. And don't you know it's days like these that make you want to chill, enjoy the ride. It's days like these that let you get your groove on. Nothing goes.
Dude, he is the worst vocalist ever.
I totally disagree. I think he's amazing, dude. I love David Lee Roth. Me and Donnie just got in this argument. I think
No,
with
I'm not
Donnie the other
talking about
day.
Dave. Dave's great. I'm talking about the dude from
Oh.
Smash Mouth. He's like,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm not so much worried about
I
that.
disagree. The dude from Smash Mouth is one of the greatest vocalists of all time, and no one knows his name.
I like to stick
Yeah.
my dick in chocolate.
Jason, I don't know if that was the right one though. Wasn't?
Yeah,
wasn't
that
the
was it.
one that was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was the one where they had the music too.
Oh, they might have another one with the music.
Yeah, I think so. But that was still equally as funny. That one's good.
Bro, I didn't realize that the Shrek I can't fucking talk. Shrek 5 soundtrack leaked already.
Dude, your microphone sounds like shit.
It does?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clipping.
Is it all of a sudden right? Hold on,
Yeah.
let me see. Let me make sure it's going through the right one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna talk to Jared for a minute. Jared, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm fabulous, bro. I'm fabulous. I'm just happy to be here talking to you fine gentlemen tonight.
Yeah, I think I was on the very first Brownwater Banter podcast.
Yes, you were. You and Sir Anthony Patallo.
That's
we were
right.
in Anthony's garage, man. 18.
Yeah.
Now, no, maybe 17, but I think 18.
It was a while ago. It might have been 2017.
It may have been at the tail end of 17 or at the very beginning of 18. I'm not 100%. I have to look that up. But yeah, man, I knew you were already doing podcasts, had been doing podcasts for a while. When we were in the band together in the early days, like 2009, right, Jason?
Well, that was actually one of the things that I wanted the band to do back then.
Yep.
I was like, man, we should do a Tales from the Van podcast where we just basically just put a microphone, just hang it in the van when we go from show to show and just capture all the stupid shit we would talk about.
I remember thinking, and I think I've said this to you before, like when you said podcast, like I didn't know what I thought it was like a piece of hardware or something. I didn't know like remember the Line 6 had like a guitar amp thing. I was like, is he talking about like us getting one of those or something? Like I don't understand what he's talking about.
None of you guys knew what I was talking about. Y'all were just like,
No.
shut up, you crazy old man.
Yeah,
Because I'm like,
and
you
then
know what?
later, obviously, you explained it to me, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And it's it's pretty much a talk show, just audio only.
And I still have it written down in a day planner too. I was actually talking about this with one of our guests not too long ago. Who was the country singer we had on here? What was his name?
Cody Prevost.
Cody Prevost. I was telling him, I was like, man, I had the idea for Patreon like 10, 12 years ago. I still have it in one of my planners because I had it all planned out. I brought it to you guys. I was like, look, and why don't we make a website where we charge people like a monthly rate, like $5 a month, and they get like, we record like a new song every month. We give it out exclusively to them. And then at the end of the year, if we do a song a month, we have 12 songs to put onto an album. And then we could do like video stuff every week. We could do podcasts, and you guys are like, what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
And now look at Patreon. It's $1 billion industry, and I let slip through my fingers.
See, he did this with Cody Prevost too. Like, I brought on this country singer who opened for Florida Georgia Line and played with frickin' Garth Brooks, and he rants about how he invented Patreon before it happened.
I'm gonna rant about the fact that I invented Patreon for the rest of my life. I'm
You
gonna be
didn't
that
invent
guy.
Patreon,
Yes,
Jason.
I did.
Hey, Jacob, just let him have his moment, bro.
I'll
know
let
what
you
I
have
mean?
your moment. Do I sound
Just let him
better,
have
or am I still shit?
No, it's better.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say!
Nice.
So
Nice.
Jared, you did get a hold of me. I remember the conversation we had where you called up and asked me about doing podcasts and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just kind of like took the ball and just freaking ran with it, man. You've got some pretty successful shows at this point, and even to have a podcast studio. Do you guys still have the studio or no?
No, that space that we had was a co-op space where we shared with other. It was actually us, the podcast guys, me, Anthony, Kevin at the time, and then a bunch of wedding vendors. So like,
Yeah.
you walked in the studio, y'all knew y'all were in there, and it's like all these wedding photos and flower decorations.
Yeah.
It's very very feminine place, but when COVID hit, man, they all lost their sources of income, so they
Yeah.
could no longer split the rent, and without us paying the full price for that big of a building, I just didn't think that was, the right move at the time.
That was a nice
So
space, though,
we
man.
all bailed out together.
Yeah, that was a nice space, though, man. I wish I could have gotten in with you guys, but I couldn't swing it every month.
Yeah.
And me and Jacob had talked about it too. Like, man, if we each pitch in like, $75 a piece a month, we could, get a piece of the, to go into a podcast studio for an hour a week. Like that's the dream, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and we're still looking. We've got some feelers out, and we got some promising I don't leads, whatever, hopes that some things will pan out. But every single thing, dude, is just so expensive, you know. And I don't make really much money at all off of all this. Really, I spend money on it, so it's kind of
same with us.
You got to justify what you're doing, to.
Well, we get our bills paid, but as you can see, poor Jacob has to read 3 minutes of drama at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah. I have to read fucking Shakespeare to pay our Libsyn fees.
Yeah, well, I'd do it. I'd read 8 minutes of Shakespeare if that's what it took to get.
And then later, our sponsor texted me and told me that I read like English as my second language.
Hey,
Which I can't blame him. That's kind of true, but like, come on, man. I read fucking 3 minutes of Shakespeare. What do you expect?
What more do you want from me?
So what gave you the idea for Brownwater Banter podcast? If you haven't listened to it, explain it for everybody exactly what it is.
Yeah, so Brownwater kind of in my mind stands for I don't know, I almost break it down to 3 things, right? So number 1 being the Mississippi, actually the Gulf Coast, right? So from anywhere the Gulf of Mexico touches the United States is kind of how I like to look at it. From Texas, Louisiana, obviously I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi, so Mississippi Gulf Coast, Alabama, Florida. But I've lived here my entire life. I love it with all my heart. I would never, I hate people talk online. I want to get out of Mississippi. I hate it down here and all this kind of stuff. That's not me. I love where I'm from. I love the heritage down here, the culture, the Gulf of Mexico in particular. And so, as you mentioned, Jason and I we were in a band together, still are, for many, many years. And I love music and I love all things audio that goes along with that, right? And so I wasn't really at a spot where I could be in a band anymore, at least at that time. Couldn't really tour and play and do stuff just because, I'm married with kids and life. And so I was like, well, hell, what can I do to kind of get back into that creative zone and be affiliated with something that's audio related and, digital, and I like doing video stuff. And so, yeah, I was like, hell, let's do a podcast. So I reached out to Jason because I knew he had already been doing it, and Anthony as well, and kind of tried to pick their brain on a few things. I follow some people online since then and to this day that are kind of like, I feel like the gurus at it. So that's where I take all my tips and tricks from. And really wanted to do something outside of work that, you felt passionate about. So that's where it came from.
That's the thing. Oh, go ahead.
So but like the meaning though behind it. So like you say, the Mississippi, the Gulf of Mexico, our water out here is brown. Everybody knows that. We get made fun of for it all the time, right? So brown water, banter because you're talking, a group of people chattering around, making fun of each other is what I always hope for. Banter, but then also for me, love of bourbon. Bourbon's also referred to sometimes as brown water, kind of a slang term for it. And then kind of thought, well, originally we were going to drink it on every single episode is kind of how I thought it would go down. And then I realized like, dude, if you do a lot of these, you're drinking a lot. And then I also thought, some people don't drink and some people shouldn't drink. And I was like, well, coffee could kind of fill in in that thing too. And then we've developed into a lot of outdoor stuff now too. I brought a good buddy of mine. We've been friends since we were kids, Joey, on, and now we're focusing a lot with the Gulf of Mexico vibe on charter boat fishing, hunting. We haven't done a ton of that yet, but we want to get into that. We're hosting a fishing tournament in October at the Blind Tiger in
Oh,
Biloxi.
that's
So
cool.
yeah, just trying to turn a hobby and to focus something into the things that you love.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Like you just took it and ran with it, and you get like I make your T-shirts for Brownwater Banter and like all that stuff, and you talk about how it was kind of that you have to have some kind of creative outlet, and for a while, the band kind of we didn't necessarily break up, we just kind of took a break for a while.
We were going hard there for a few years, man. We were playing Fridays and Saturdays fairly regularly, practicing 2 to 3 times a week. And, from Louisiana to mainly, J-Bob, it was mainly Louisiana, Mississippi. Mobile every now and again, but not much.
It was really the Louisiana kind of South Mississippi area that we were covering a lot. And
which is another good reason to love that state, man. I mean, that whole New Orleans, Metairie.
Well, we were honestly, we were kind of considered a New Orleans band because we played New Orleans more than we played here. And we had such a huge following over there. Homa. Of course, we played the Howlin' Wolf a lot. Both of them, actually, the North Shore and the one in New Orleans. And we played Baton Rouge a lot. And that's another thing I wanted to kind of talk to you about. You have the sound show as well, which has Kevin Harris on it, which he used to do a show back in the day here on the coast called the Homegrown Show on Sunday nights. And basically what it was is unsigned bands from the Southeast. And he had talked to me a few years ago about doing a show, kind of a homegrown podcast. And I was like, it might be a lot of work, to try to get all that stuff together. And
it is.
But you guys actually did that show, the sound, which then spawned a new version of the Homegrown Show, which is on 97.9 here on the coast. And, we played with a lot of bands, and I just wanted to bring up, like, one of the bands we used to play with all the time was Pandemic, which is kind of a fitting word for what's going on in the world now. And honestly, they're like, and I wanted to talk about, like you guys, the sound has was putting on concerts here on the coast before COVID hit, and they were doing really well. And some of the best bands I've ever seen came through here, like Helvetica Effect. And between them and Pandemic, I'm like, man, you listen to those bands and you're like, why are these guys not selling out arenas, man? Like, it just it hurts my feelings that in Helvetica Effect, I don't even know if they're around anymore. I know the singer quit. The singer guitar
he stepped
player.
out because I think from what if I remember reading correctly, family obligations, wife, children, work, which is what happens a lot of times. But you're right. We hosted those 2 live events in 2019, and our plan was to do 2 this year again as well. Actually more. We wanted to do 4, really, 1 a quarter. And COVID screwed that up as well. But it is of my belief that there is a ton of musical talent just in our little area. It's just that there isn't a lot of venues down here, I don't feel like, that cater to that. It's
not like it used to be. I mean, even Falls from Grace, when we were still playing up until heavily up until about 2012, I mean, there went from, places to play all along the coast. I mean, you could play every weekend, like Friday and Saturday night for a month and never hit the same place twice. And then it started to just, over the years, it started to dwindle down to where it was like one place to play. And
and now that's pretty much gone. I mean, Thunders is gone. Magic Moments has been gone. I mean, where can you play around here? The grocery, again, COVID not being a factor, right?
Right.
The juke joint, Boots and Spurs, but that's more obviously a country vibe, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for that, they do a great job over there. I know I'm missing Zeppelin's is gone.
Yeah.
What else am I missing that is current? I know there's a couple. I'm drawing a blank. Oh, the Hotspot right now. You can go play there.
Yeah.
I went and watched the band this past weekend there in Vision.
Well, there's the
So
Mermaid Bar, which used to be Zeppelin's, and
yeah, but I don't
I don't
know if they're doing live music or
I don't
not.
think they are at
No,
all.
they
You
do
know?
comedy right now.
Yeah.
They have a comedy event there like once every 2 weeks. And like I can attest to that from comedy. Like it's nearly impossible to find a new venue around here, man.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is
and
fucking difficult to find anywhere to literally perform for people and like be like, hey, like this is the thing that I love doing and I want to share it with you. And it just seems like no one's interested, even pre-COVID.
yeah, it goes back saying so comedy or music. You kind of have to build a community, whether that's online and in person. And that's one thing good that not that I was the Kraken was trying to do that, right? They
Yeah.
were trying to make that happen for you guys in the comedy world, and they were going to open up a dedicated comedy shop, which I
Mhm.
think would have been great, you know. And it just didn't get off the ground,
Well,
and
the
then
rug
COVID
got
hit,
pulled
which would
out
have
from
probably
under it, just all of a
yeah,
sudden,
yeah, and
just by
COVID would have probably killed it right as soon as it opened anyway, you
Yeah.
know. But and that goes back to like why we started the sound. You know, I approached Kevin at the Iberville parade, I think 2018 as well, and was like, look, man, you know, I knew Brownwater was something I really wanted to do, but I wanted to scratch that music itch. And like I say, there's a ton of talent around here, but the homegrown show was not a thing anymore on CPR. It's like you have all these channels of distribution through Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all that, but there's no one-stop shop to
Yeah.
where do you go to get all of it all at once, right? And so that's what we wanted to do. And then we also wanted to branch out and to try to create the live aspect of it as well, right?
Mhm.
And so yeah, that's what you saw last year with the fall ball and the summer throwdown. And J Bob mentioned the Helvetica Effect. This was a band that I'd only heard online. They're from Florida, and they come over and open up. And you know, I've heard their music. I know I'm gonna like it, but the live performance that they
Mhm.
put on was like a punch in the face.
Yeah.
You know, and like J Bob, like you mentioned, it's like why aren't these guys selling out arenas? And it's because I feel like it's probably a number of things, but you know, where could they go to get their
Yeah.
start? Really, you know, it's
And
not.
that's the
Right.
thing. Like I'm, the first I had never heard of the Helvetica Effect until I saw him live that night at the show, and from that point on, I was a hardcore, like online every day, like sharing their stuff, being like, "You got to check these guys out." And I'm like, "Why are these guys not selling out arenas? Why are they not just?" Burning up the airwaves everywhere. And then I look like online on Twitter, it's like, Taylor Swift sells 40 billion albums. And I'm like, oh, that's why people's taste
Hey.
in music fucking sucks.
You don't fucking diss Taylor Swift on this podcast, all right?
Not gonna happen.
My bad.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
bad.
exactly.
I mean,
So,
like you bring up a good point though. It's like, what do you even do anymore to break out? Like, what's the path that you can take?
I'll tell you, you get for music or for comedy.
Either.
I'll go music. I'm not maybe as well versed on how you would do that with comedy, but with music, what you do is, and this is what we tell the bands that reach out to us that we talk to. It's like number one, you have to get a good recording. I mean, that's been the same, audio recording. That's been the same since forever, right?
Yeah.
If your recording sounds crappy, it better be a hell of a song to be like, man, that's a great song, even though it still sounds like shit.
Yeah.
So get a good recording. That price point has come way down,
Oh,
way,
yeah.
way down. So you should be able to afford it. If you can't, you're not serious enough about music. You don't need to be here anyway.
And dude, you
get a
can
good
get
recording.
enough stuff to record an album in your house at this point for cheaper than what we used to pay for studio time.
Correct, but knowing how to run that is
Yeah.
also a thing too.
True,
So just
yeah.
because you got the equipment doesn't mean that you know how to use it. So get that, and then I always say nowadays get some form of video. You have whether that's a lyric video, a static lyric video, or a real like music video, because everybody lives in their phone.
Yeah.
Period. Everybody lives on their phone or lives on their TV where you control what you watch through YouTube or whatever. And get those two things and start getting it out there. And then push as hard as you can online. And it shouldn't cost you a whole lot of money to do that. You can run paid ads if you want, and that's great. but you can build a buzz online before you ever play your first show. And I hate saying that because I think the live part would, I wish we started there, but this almost, especially now with COVID too, right?
Yeah.
It seems like that's kind of not the thing. Get Twitch players to play your music while they're gaming.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, those guys, some of those guys have tons of followings, right? See if you can reach out to them. And if your shit's good, you know, they may play it, they may hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely seems like the way to do it now, is to go for more of like an online offensive. Because like a comedy club that I was booked at just now booked a TikTok star for a
Yep.
live show at their venue. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. A fucking TikTok star is doing a comedy club that I worked. I was fucking pissed off, man. But it's like one of those guys that does joke songs and shit, and like I can't knock it because I clicked on his page and he has like 16,000 Facebook followers.
Well,
And I'm like, that's just, it's ridiculous he's getting that, you know, from just one platform like TikTok.
yeah. Well, so you can go right now, like you're saying, there's not really a place around here to do comedy, right? You could literally set your phone up in front of your face and do all your skits and put them on TikTok, and now you're performing in front of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been
just like
trying to
that guy
get
did.
my girlfriend to teach me how TikTok works.
It's dude, I mean, I'm not like super savvy at it, but I know how to use the app. It's not that hard. You can learn it in a day, you know, and
Yeah.
then you can test and see how funny you are, right? Because
Mhm.
no better way to demonstrate a product or a song or a skit or whatever than to put it out there online and see if it hits.
Right.
And that's the good thing about the internet now. With if I was to start from scratch, or if I was a young musician, it just seems like it would be so easy now to get your stuff out there. A lot easier than it used to be. And of course there is just, you know, a cacophony of noise out there right now. Just so much stuff is out there. But I will always believe that the cream will always rise to the top. You know, if
Yeah,
your
I
stuff
agree
is
with that.
good,
I
it's
agree
going to
with that.
catch on. So, you know, and I wish we would have had, you know, social media back when I was in fall as well. It would have made things a lot easier because we used to have to go and on like Yahoo Messenger chat rooms and stuff and be like, post links to our fallaswell.com page. Like that was, some of us, that was our job. Like me and Lenny, the guitar player, would have to go into the imprint offices. Like we were told to come into the office today and you sit here, and for the next 6-7 hours you're just going to be in chat rooms going, hey, check out this new band Fall As Well, fallaswell.com. Like, and that's all we did all day was just hitting chat rooms.
Yeah, and that's the same game today. It's just through different channels, you know. And you're right; it's a lot more noisy now. But at the same time, if you're good and you work harder than the other guy,
That's
you
the
know, you'll
key.
see what happens. But you know, and I've talked about this the other day with a buddy of mine. It's like I can go audit though all the local bands around here right now on their social media pages, and half of them aren't doing that. They don't have
Yeah.
groups that they've created, right? That's free. They're usually all you see is I'm playing Friday at 7:30. Come out.
Yeah.
I'm playing Friday 7:30. Come. It's like, okay, well, like, why not go live every now and then from a practice? Why not talk about why you wrote the song? Like, give the audience more of your shit because then they're gonna buy in, you know. And then smack them in the face when they come to a show, and you got them hooked.
Yeah.
And you can
That's
sell
it.
shit off of your Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
T-shirts and whatever, because we all know music's not really for sale anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
Well, with
you give it
everything
away.
that's out there, like you've got Bandcamp, which you can do, you know, it's an all in one stop shop. You know, you sell your album, you sell your merch all through that. Or, you know, you can do a Patreon, or you can you can set up stuff in SoundCloud, or hell, you know, pay, you know, $100 a month to what's the website where you can build the easy website?
Wix or
WordPress?
Squarespace.
Well, there's plenty of website places out there you can build your own website, and they've got, you know, an built-in online store with, you know, everything
I
you
use
need.
Wix for Brownwater.
Yeah.
It's all built in. I take PayPal. We can do everything right there at
It's so
brownwaterbanter.com.
Yeah. It's so easy to get into it, but like I
Right
said,
here.
there's so much noise out there right now. It's like, how do you get heard? And that's really all it is you're taking what we used to do back in the day where we would have to go around and put flyers and like the local music shops and all the places people would hang out. And it's the same thing as online now. You're just doing it digitally. You just have to get it, find a way to get it in front of people's faces. And eventually, you know, if you throw it in front of 100 people, you're going to get at least 10. You know, law of averages is going to work in your favor the harder you work.
Yeah, that's the kicker. You know, work hard.
Yeah.
And us doing that podcast, we see some that are, and we see a lot that kind of aren't. You know, and it's like, damn, that sucks, because some of them have some music that I'm only one opinion, but I hear it and I'm like, damn, you know, that's good. You know, it's like, why are you not pushing hardcore if that's your goal? Maybe it's not. Maybe, you know, maybe you just putting it out there, and that's okay too, you know?
Yeah. Not
Some
every
people do
band
just
is
do
lucky
that.
to have a Mikey Boucher who is just like a road warrior cheerleader who's going to get out there and make sure it gets in front of people's faces.
Right.
So we got to get Mikey on this. Get you and Mikey. We need to have the whole band on one night. We should do that.
Let's do it.
If we could ever
Let's
get
do it.
Donnie out of his cave.
Yeah.
But
Haul him out of his cave.
But one thing we like to do here on the Open Micers podcast, we like to do the top 5. And this week with Jared, we're going to do our top 5 metal bands. Yes.
Nice.
I like it. And we usually let our guests go first. So, Jared, what is your number 5 favorite metal band?
So going up to 1 being the best. I had a question though. So when you say metal, where are we at here? Are we talking like 80s hair metal bands? Are we talking like death metal? Are we talking
My list is all over the spectrum.
Yeah, mine
Okay,
kind of
so
is
it's-
too. So it's really just whatever, you know, metal's metal to me. So,
Okay, metal bands.
Because I mean, I can go from listening to like, you know, death metal to Motley Crue and like nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna. I should have wrote this down, I think, but because I'm probably gonna screw the order up and want to change it. Are we doing like 5 all the way around, or I just list all 5 right now?
We'll do 1 each. We'll do 5 and then 4.
All right, so I'm gonna start out with. I'm gonna go Mudvayne.
No, that's not a bad choice. I didn't even
Yeah.
Mudvayne didn't even come up on my radar when I was writing this down.
Like I say, like, do you call them metal? I mean, I don't know. You know that
I would.
You know, hoity-toities get real specific with words when it comes to musical genres, right? They're like, well, technically they're more progressive than they are metal.
Rampage in the chat room says Vanilla Ice #1, baby.
Hey,
God
you can't
damn
argue-
it, Rampage!
Hey, he did put out a metal album. I'll give him that.
He did do that.
He stole my pick.
So what about you, Jacob? What's your number 5?
All right, my number 5. I went a little old school with it. I said Motley Crue. I fucking love Motley Crue, man. Even the soft song. What's that song? It's like I had a runaway high. Whatever that fucking song is.
That's holy crap. One of my favorite songs, and I can't think of the name.
I can't either, but I want to do Speedball.
Home Sweet Home. That's what it was. Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Dude, have you guys seen the what was the name of the movie? It was The Dirt.
Yes,
No.
that was awesome.
You haven't seen
I
The
thought you were
Dirt?
gonna talk about Hot Tub Time Machine,
No.
because that's like the fucking theme song of that movie.
I would definitely say watch the movie first and then read the book. The book is so much better and goes each member of the band wrote their own like quarter of the book. So you get the same time period from 4 different perspectives, and it's really cool.
Oh, Resident Evil 6 in this bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So for my number 5, I think I'm going to start out. My number 5 is Anthrax. I love me some Anthrax. I think
See, so
persistence of
y'all are going more like metal. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna, because you said that, I'm gonna pivot over and I'm gonna go for number 4. I'm gonna go Slayer.
Nice. God, I should have put
Yeah.
Slayer. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Never mind. Too late now. Damn it. I forgot Slayer. I have so many. Dude,
Yeah.
Rain and Blood is one of the greatest metal albums
They
ever
got a
made.
lot of good music out there.
Yeah, they do. I saw a funny meme the other day that said, Oh shit, what's the singer's name? Bass player, singer.
I can't remember.
Crap, what's his name?
I,
Crap, I'm so old now I can't remember anybody's name. But anyway, it was like a meme of just a close up of like his mouth, like from his nose down and his chin. It's like, so you say I can't recognize someone from just their beard. Like you know exactly who it is just when you see that, like that one shot, because he's got that big burly beard. Yeah. So what about you, Jacob? What's your number 4?
My number 4 is System of a Down.
Oh.
All through high school, I woke up to chop suey every morning. I got scared awake. Just wake up, grab my brother, wake up. It was fucking. I love that song, but I hate it now.
I wanted to put them in my top 5, but I think I had to just bump them out. So
I never got into System of a Down. It's just something about them just never really jived with me.
Really,
and I don't know
was
why.
into them heavy from the what was it? What was the first record? With Sugar on it and all that shit.
Yeah.
Pogo.
I like their drummer. I think their drummer's great. Like, you know, he's one of those drummers that when you hear him, you know who he is. So, like, he's very, like, there's very few drummers on the planet that when you hear him, you go, oh, yeah, that's who that is. Just from the way they play to the sound of their drums.
Too.
What's that?
They're all Armenian.
Yeah. Yeah, I just never got into him.
You never got into Serge's voice?
Not really.
Vocals?
I don't really dig his voice all that much. It kind of bugs me, actually.
I do, because it's really unique.
Yeah, and it's pretty powerful too. Yeah. He was definitely
I mean, it's a great. He's got lots of range, but just something about his voice grates on. It's like him, Axl Rose, and the dude from Offspring. Something about those dudes' voices.
Dexter Holland.
Oh,
Dexter,
no,
I can't do it.
I'll agree.
It's like
with that one.
I don't know. There's something about their voices that those 3 guys in particular just grate my nerves as soon as I hear them.
Axl will get in there and kind of assault the eardrum, but
yeah,
you know, I like that about
and
him.
I hate when he says like that. It's like, oh, dude. Let's see. My number 4. I'm gonna go ahead and say Metallica from Black Album before, like everything
backwards,
up to from the Black Album backwards.
Death Magnetica wasn't bad.
I don't not like it, but I also just it's kind of meh. Like I can listen to it and be like, it's all right, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not like listening to Master of Puppets and being like, "This is the greatest fucking album ever made."
Yeah, those are some iconic albums though. You know, I think. How do you ever top that shit?
Yeah,
you know?
especially the Cliff Burton era. I mean, that dude was. You could tell he was the heart of that band, and when they lost him, it was like they just
there's
they
some
lost
video
something.
of them playing in the late '80s, and I want to say maybe it's like in Oakland or I don't know somewhere, but like he's playing the beginning riff that I thought had to have been on the guitar, but it wasn't. It was him just. No pick, nothing, finger right on the bass, dude, and he's going off, and I'm like, now I know why everybody said that, like why he was so, badass.
Somebody on Twitter the other day posted a thing that said, if you had a time machine, what would you do? And one of the replies was, I would go back in time and make Lars switch places with Cliff. Dude, I laughed so hard when I read that.
You're laughing because it's true. It's funny because you.
Yeah. All right, so where are we at? Number 3?
Number 3?
Yeah, what's your number 3, Jared?
Damn. Shit. I'm probably going to... This is hard for me, dude, to put them in order, but I'm going to go Deftones.
Oh, yeah, Deftones.
Yeah.
Dude, that first album and Around the Fur, those 2 albums
Adrenaline,
God.
Around the Fur, and dude, I liked White Pony
Yeah,
a lot.
White Pony's great too. What was the one that had the skull and the roses on it?
Self-titled.
Yeah, that had a few good songs on it, but the whole album, there was some real kind of stinkers on that album.
It was the Dark album. That was when they were going through like a lot of fighting and shit.
Yeah.
It was I don't know though. I still like it front to back.
Yeah.
I like it. The Saturday Night Wrist was the
Yeah.
one they put out, and I was just like, oh man, oh man.
Dude, there was a
you know?
live album that they put out. It was in the late
B-sides
90s.
and rarities.
Whew, man, he is off key when they're live, man. I was listening, I was like, ew.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
a
that
lot
was
of
bad.
live bands.
It's probably a lot of partying going on in that
Yeah.
band, if I had to guess, especially back then.
So what's
Dude,
your...
how about Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, though? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love me
wow.
some Mighty Mighty Boss Tones now. Don't you talk about
Gotta
the
get those
Mighty Mighty Boss
trumpets playing.
Tones.
I hadn't heard that name in a long time.
What about you, Jacob? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Disturbed. I've listened to Disturbed since I was 5 years old, and that might explain a lot about me.
Well, that makes me kind of want to punch you because of being out
this-
when you were 5.
I never got into Disturbed. Like, I just
I listened to what was it, like 10,000 Fists or something like that. That album came out when I was like 5, I think, in like 2005, something like that.
they're like
Down with the Sickness was their first record, if
Yeah.
I remember right, and
Yeah.
that one had Down with the Sickness on it. But I liked that when it came out, and then after that, I couldn't really.
they're kind of like
I guess
they're the Nickelback of metal.
A little bit. But you know what? Hey, hot take. Nickelback ain't all that bad. Y'all just hate it.
Yeah, well,
We
like
all
what
wanna
you
be a
like.
rock star, baby.
Like what you
they
like,
sold a
but
shit ton of records.
doesn't mean I'm not gonna make fun of it.
Yeah. It might just be nostalgia though, because the new Disturbed is definitely shit. Like when fucking Sound of Silence comes on, like my fingers have never moved so fast
Yeah.
my
I don't-
entire life to change the fucking station.
It's not for me, but kudos to him. I mean, he's got a powerful voice for
Yeah.
sure. But it just
Definitely does, yeah.
resonated with me.
So my number 3 is probably gonna be Opeth. I saw them
Oh.
live in Atlanta, and holy crap, did they put on a good show! Like, great musicians, and live they sound exactly like the albums. They're just pitch perfect.
Really?
And each album, like, you can hear the progression of the band. Like, they start out, in the Blackwater Park era as like straight death metal, and then they get into Deliverance and Damnation. They start really getting into kind of like the softer stuff too, and then like a lot of the musicianship of going from like melodic stuff to the death metal stuff, and then they evolved later. Like the last few albums have been like more of like metal fusion type stuff. And it's just like, if you want to listen to a band of great musicians and listen to a complete arc of how a band progresses, just listen to the entire Opeth catalog.
Yeah, I'm not. I've heard some of their stuff for sure, but I'm not like well versed or deep into their stuff, and I always get them confused with OTEP.
Oh yeah. Get ready. If you want to listen to Opeth, you better get used to listening to 14-minute songs too, because I don't think they've written a song less than 10 minutes.
Well, that's a great segue into the next pick for me. I
All
think.
right. What's your number 2?
We're number 2
Or number 3?
I
I
have
mean.
to go with.
No, 2, right?
Are we on 3?
No,
Yeah,
we're on 2.
It's number 2. Number 2.
Yeah. I gotta go with Tool, and again, I know it's probably stretching.
Crap.
That's probably stretching the term metal. I don't want to. If we got any music aficionados, they're gonna be like, "What the f is this
Dude,
guy?"
I saw Tool live and at the Coliseum in 2004. One of the best
I was
concerts
there.
I've ever seen. That show was
I was
so
there.
damn good.
Yeah.
Think for yourself.
That's a
Question
controversial
Yeah.
pick, man, because people either love Tool or they
Yeah.
fucking hate Tool. Like, there's no in between.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why you would hate him.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know why people hate him either, man. I like Tool.
Rush is one of my favorite bands of all time, and they're one of those bands where people either love them or hate them. It's kind of the
I
same
love
way.
Rush. Yeah.
So what about you, Jacob? What's your number 2?
My number 2, I went with the classic, arguably one of the pioneers of metal, Black Sabbath.
Ah, yeah.
Oh, damn, that's a good one.
I
Black
debated on putting Black Sabbath on my list, but then I was like, well, do I like Ozzy better? Or do I like... Because I like Black Sabbath, but I'll be honest, I like the Ozzy stuff better. but I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
You know what? I do too, man. But like, it all kind of clumps together, man. Black Sabbath slash Ozzy Osbourne. Like, Ozzy Osbourne's essentially the godfather of metal.
Yeah, I still say we need to learn War Pigs for our next show.
I love that song.
That
And I was gonna
song's
say
so
that just a
good.
second ago. I mean, you talking about Dio or Ozzy, it's like War Pigs to me is like you don't have there's nothing else really you need to say.
Dude, that live album that they put out in '97 or '98 is one of the best live albums ever put out.
Have you ever went on again like to YouTube and looked up? You can see them playing somewhere in Germany, I think, in the it's like 72 or 6 somewhere in that ballpark, and it looks like they're the opening band to me. They're playing in front of not a ton of people. I mean, it's a lot, but it's not like what they ended up playing in front of, and you can see it's just like they're just killing it, dude. They are
Yeah.
like I'm looking at people in the crowd and I'm like, do you not understand what's happening in front of your face?
Yeah.
And like some people are just kind of like casually just like hanging out or whatever, It's like, dude.
Yeah, Rampage said it was. I think he was referring to when I said Disturbed was the Nickelback of of metal. He said that's blasphemy. I'm sorry, man. That's my opinion.
And we all get to have one.
So Jacob, what's your number 2?
I did my number 2. What's your number 2?
My number 2. My bad.
Baldy?
My number 2 is gonna be Slipknot. I love me some Slipknot. I wasn't too big on the last album though, but man,
I didn't know you were that big into Slipknot, Jason.
No,
I didn't know that.
I've been listening to Slipknot for probably heavily for about the last 3 to 4 years. Like I really didn't listen to them a whole lot back in the day until probably about 2015, and then I really just I don't know, just something clicked, and I just started.
Yeah.
I went back and started listening from what was the not
Iowa.
this album but the one before
All Hope Is Gone.
All Hope Is Gone.
Oh no.
Got it.
No, the one before was Devil and
Well, no, I started at All Hope Is Gone, and then I was
Yeah.
like, I like this a lot, and then just went back from there and listened to
Well, to
every
me,
album back to the beginning.
Everybody shit on All Hope Is Gone when it came out.
But
and
that's what
hardcore
got me
Slipknot
into
fans-
them was that album.
Well, I was already into them at that point, but when that record came out, I was like, man, these guys are just they hit that next level in my mind. But like so many of their fans just hate that record, and then they came out and Dave Fortman recorded that record,
Yeah.
and they shit on him bad. And I just remember thinking like, dude, this record sounds amazing.
It's a great
like y'all
sounding
have
record.
figured out how to put the brutality that is Slipknot into a song that's I hate to call it a radio song,
Mhm.
but like it's polished, but it's still aggressive as hell. So I don't know. That kind of screwed me up. I thought it was amazing.
But
and
ever
and
since
not
I
everyone did.
started listening to that album, and then I went back and started listening to them, like this is over the past few years they've become one of my favorite bands. Like I just listen to them all the time now. But like I said, the last album I really didn't like all that much, but maybe it'll grow on me. I don't know, the more I listen to it, but I don't know. I think they kind of like just a great just catalog of music from them.
Yeah.
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 I'm not the biggest Slipknot fan, but I love Corey Taylor. Like, I love his voice.
Yeah.
Like, have you heard his new single? Corey Taylor just dropped a new single that's fucking amazing.
I haven't heard this new single.
Which one are you talking about?
The new one they fucking play on the radio all the time. I don't know. It's like really soft. I forgot the name of it. But I really love Stone Sour too, dude. Like, I love Corey Taylor's voice.
I like
Yep,
Stone
I'll agree
Sour,
with that.
but there's a lot of hit or miss with Stone Sour to me. Like the songs that I really like, but then there's a lot of skip.
Yeah.
Their first record, I saw them play Stone Sour. I saw them open up for Chevelle at the Coliseum, the convention center, not the new nice one, the old shitty one.
Fall
in a
Fall
room
as Well
like
was supposed to open up for that show, but we were told an hour before we were supposed to be there to set up that we were no longer on the bill. I was like,
Damn, that sucks.
really? And we had told all these people we were going to be opening up for them. I was like, that was crap.
Yeah, they threw down. That whole record's amazing, and the Audio Secrecy record. If you ever go listen, want to look one of theirs up, that to me That record's amazing. It sounds amazing too.
Yeah. So, all right, we're at our number one spot now. So, Jared, what's your number one spot? Favorite metal bands?
All right, and this is kind of me leaning into the metal, hopefully play, but I'm gonna have to go with Pantera, man. Dimebag Darrell,
Yep.
Vinnie Paul Abbott, Rex Brown, and we all know the monster on vocals, Phil Anselmo.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I love Pantera. I don't know. Really Dimebag Darrell too. I like going back and watching all his Dime Vision and all the videos that he put out, and I don't know. I mean, what I think, are they one of the? There's a stat that they have, the only metal band or something that their album debuted at number one. I
think so. I think it was Far Beyond Driven, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then it also, I don't know how many times platinum it went, but I know it was at least one.
Yeah, no, it went like 2 or 3 at least.
Yeah,
like that's
and to
that
play
album
the style
was
of music
huge.
that they're playing, that's crazy.
It's because they were the only band that was playing metal like that in the '90s. I mean, it was all like alternative and grunge rock at the time, and then
Videos from Hell. That's
Yeah.
that's the series you need to go check out. It's all
Yeah.
his home movies and shit.
I mean, I love
crazy.
Pantera. Like Vinnie Paul is still one of the best drummers on the planet. I mean, may God rest their souls. You know, like those two did not deserve to die as young as they did, and it was horrible.
Dimebag Darrell really had like an open mind too, man.
Yeah,
he did, man. And like I say, like all his videos, he just looked to me like the dude who was always in a good mood and trying to have a good time, like always.
Oh yeah. Well, what about you, Jacob? What's your number one on your list?
My number one favorite metal band of all time is Motorhead.
Lemmy.
I don't know what other fucking number one I could have, dude. Listen to the Ace of Spades on a loop while you're committing crimes.
Hey, watch this.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, dude, if it wasn't for
get rid of
Motorhead,
them,
if it wasn't for Motorhead, we wouldn't have like Metallica and Megadeth and
For
Anthrax.
sure.
Like,
Like, how fucking metal is it to do the soundtrack for Hellraiser?
or to just be like, I'm playing Rickenbacker basses through a guitar cab and you can kiss my ass.
who was
yeah,
it?
exactly.
Who was
dude.
it that was? I think it was Corey told us a story about somebody who ran into Lemmy at the. He used to just hang out at this bar all the time in L.A. and they ran into him at the bar, and he was just sitting there with like. You know, he had like the leather jacket on and everything. He's like smoking cigarettes, drinking bourbon, and he's wearing like these cut off blue jean shorts and like his nuts are hanging out. And he's wearing like cowboy boots.
There's a documentary on him somewhere, YouTube, I don't know, Netflix or whatever, and it is badass. If you haven't ever seen it, you should go watch it because it's really, really good.
Oh yeah, I'll go check that out. I'm never really listened to too much Motorhead. Like I know some of the main stuff, but I never really delved into like the Motorhead catalog.
And you know, neither did I, to be absolutely honest. Like I'm like you, I know just a couple of them, but after I watched that documentary, dude, that's when it like solidified it for me. Like this dude is just, he didn't give a shit about nothing.
And for my number one, probably one of my favorite bands of all time is Iron Maiden. I love Iron Maiden so freaking much. Live After Death is still the greatest live album, and live. I have the DVD somewhere around here. It has like all the extra footage and everything on it. Like the whole, like the golden period of when they had Adrian Smith and I forgot the other guitar player's name, but there was like the core of the band from like, you know, after the first couple albums, then they did like the Power Slave era, like that whole era of Iron Maiden. They were just top notch, man. Like one of the greatest bands on the planet. And they're all back together again now, even touring with Yannick Gers, who had taken over for Adrian Smith after he left. And then Adrian Smith came back, so they're playing with 3 guitar players now. Of course, you got Steve Harris, who is the greatest, you know, heavy metal rock and roll bassist that's ever walked the planet. And like I would give anything to go see them live if they ever come anywhere close around here.
Yeah. When y'all started out with like Motley Crue and shit, because then I was like, I wonder if anybody's gonna mention them.
Oh yeah, Maiden. Maiden's the greatest.
Yeah.
But that whole like Power Slave era, that mid '80s Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills up to you know like Somewhere in Time, like that whole era is just like Somewhere in Time is still probably my favorite Iron Maiden album. Somewhere in Time.
I'll have to give that a good solid front to back kind of
That's
listen.
a good album, man. Listen to that and then go listen to Live After Death. That's really all you need is those two.
J-Pop, do you do vinyl? Do you do a lot of vinyl?
Yeah, I actually have Brave New World on vinyl. The last album that they had put out.
I've only got a couple. I've got Creedence Clearwater Revival on metal because I love them like for real.
Yeah.
But I like you're doing the top 5. I kind of wanted to start buying all of like my own personal iconic to me records on vinyl just to kind of have them, you know, like trophies or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love collecting records.
Yeah, like the ones that that changed, you know, your life musically. You know what I mean? That really smacks you in the face at the right time in your life or whatever. I want to start collecting those online.
Yeah. Rampage says, what? No love for 9 Inch Nails or Tenacious D. I love Tenacious D. I love 9 Inch Nails, but I don't really consider 9 Inch Nails to be metal. They're more industrial.
I don't like 9 Inch Nails,
Well,
man.
I mean, I mentioned Tool. I mean, are they metal? You know?
Well,
I don't know.
I think Tool's more metal than 9 Inch Nails is. Like 9 Inch Nails
I never could get into them hardcore. Like, there's a couple songs that they got that I like, but I just never.
I mean, Hurt is their one good song in my opinion, and everyone knows that as a Johnny Cash song now.
They got some good stuff, man. Especially the early 9 Inch Nails stuff is great. But I love Tenacious D. Tenacious D is great.
Yeah, they have a ton of good music.
Yeah, those guys are talented, man.
Extremely.
Yeah, this is the greatest song. This is a tribute.
This is a tribute. What a great premise to a song, you know.
This is not the greatest song. I can't remember how it goes. I have to go. I got the album. I haven't listened to it in forever.
He forgot the song.
Yeah.
So, or some shit like that. So he's just playing a tribute to it, and that's what you're hearing.
I know what I'm listening to at work tomorrow. I'll be listening to the Tenacious D album.
Yeah.
But Jared,
Tenacious D is actually what they called me in high school. Sorry,
really?
Go ahead.
You kind of look like Kyle Gass a little bit. I mean, whenever you lose your hair. So that brings us to the end of the show. Jared, thank you for coming on, man.
Dude, fellas, thank y'all for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, this was fun.
It feels good to just sit and chat and be on the other end and not be constantly trying to click everything and worry about what time, you know.
Oh yeah.
Just sit and talk, man. This is way more fun.
Yeah. Whenever you want to come on, man. Anytime you want to come back, we're open for business.
Right on, man.
Just tell everybody.
Kudos to y'all for starting this, and teaming up and doing it, man. I love to see people start up new ideas for podcasts and topics and stuff like that. I think it's awesome.
And I mean, we called it open micers because the original idea was to have comedians on, but I'm like, man, it's kind of like, I know so many people that do so many different things that like, we don't have to keep it just comedians. It can be, you know, musicians and actors and writers, anybody that does any kind of thing in the entertainment industry.
Yeah. The show itself is an open mic performance.
Exactly.
Right?
So I love doing this show. I love all the people. I wish we could do it more than once a week, but you know, if this show could start paying my bills, I would do it, you know, 2-3 times a week.
Yeah, exactly.
And Rampage says he has the Tenacious D CD in his work vehicle. Yes, I still listen to CDs occasionally. Ain't nothing wrong with CDs. I still have a glove box full of CDs right now.
Yeah, I am a CD guy, man. I still collect CDs.
Dude, I love going to Best Buy and looking through the little $3 bin they have in there for CDs. Dude, I found like Al Green and all kind of shit in there.
Oh yeah, dude, Nickelback, Smash Mouth, like all the hits.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick my dick in chocolate. Whoa, yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me hit it one time before we go. Let me
Go
pull it.
ahead. I
Let's
might have
see.
to download that too, by the way.
I gotta,
right.
I gotta get it hooked into the computer where I can actually play it over in the soundboard.
That's pretty good.
Jared, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, anywhere interwebs exist. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We have a Twitch account that we go live to sometimes. Actually, that's on the sound. So Brownwater doesn't. We don't go live there. We have a TikTok account, but all of them are just at Brownwater B, and you ought to be able to find us. So we're
Yeah,
most active on Facebook though.
I'm gonna put the Brownwater B, all the contact info in the show notes. So I'll have Brownwater
Cool.
Banter, Sound 228.
Yep.
So you know, and you guys are pretty much everywhere. Instagram, you know, Facebook.
Yeah.
So wherever
It's a
you,
lot. It's a lot of
yeah.
work, man. Like, yeah, anybody listening that wants to get into it, it's super fun and it's rewarding, but it is a lot of work. Like, if you're trying to be everywhere, kind of like we are, you know, you're ripping videos and then cutting them into smaller pieces and trying to upload them to IGTV, and we're on LinkedIn on both.
You guys do way more work on your show than we do. It's just kind of like, you know, I record the shit, I put it out to Twitter or Twitch, and then I take the podcast, and I, you know, edit it up a little bit and put it out to the world.
We barely know who our guests are.
Yeah. Every week I have to be like, who's our guest? Every like Wednesday I'm like,
Seriously.
who's the guest? What's the top 5?
The other week you were like, who's my co-host again? Like, you don't know what's going on, bro.
Yep.
I have too many
and we
shows.
have like we mentioned earlier, the website. You can go to brownwaterbanter.com and all of our audio stuff is there. The videos are there, and it's the same with the sound. The sound228.com. It's all there.
And go look up Falls from Grace too. We just dropped our EP on like last summer we dropped the EP, which was
from
like
2011.
We recorded it like 9 years ago, and we finally released it last summer. And go check it out right now. We released it as an EP called Thelma, which we named after our old van that we used to tour in. We called her Thelma, and she got us from place to place, but you know, she was a temperamental old broad.
yeah, I love that old van though. There was a lot of good story you told in that thing.
Oh yeah,
so
I miss that van.
Yeah, and she's on the cover of the EP.
Go look it up. Falls from Grace.
Not
Thelma.
actually her. It was a Google stock footage photo of her. But,
it was the same van, same style, same color, everything. So.
Yeah.
Still sexy.
But we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Thank you again, Jared, for joining us. And if you would like to email us, you can email us at openmicerspodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ompodcast. Get the podcast early, and you get extra episodes and all that kind of stuff. So go over there, check that out, and we will see you guys again here next Thursday. Live long and metal. That was a fun episode.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
I'm going to go ahead and end the Twitch feed. Thank you guys for watching. That was with us tonight. Rampage for chatting with us in the chat room. And I guess I'll see you guys. I'm going to be streaming Sunday afternoon some retro game shit. So join me while I play retro games badly. So you guys have a good night.